What's up everyone? Welcome to another post-fight review. And for this week, it's the June 10th to 11th, where there was only one significant card in Murat Gassiev versus Peter Kadiru. And within this card, there's two fights that I want to talk about. Artem Suslenkov versus Joe Joyce, and Murat Gassiev versus Peter Kadiru. I'll start with Artem Suslenkov versus Joe Joyce. I'll be honest, I don't think either of them looked that good. First 3 rounds, I'll give it. Artem Suslenkov did landed quite a few amount of good body shots and headshots, although Joe Joyce also did catch him with the jab. A share of the rip, I'll just say, the one thing I liked about Joe Joyce this fight, although he did lose, was I think his jab was good. His jab was not piston, like it was like very stiff jab, and he did use the jab quite a lot in this fight. Although I think he should have used it more to set up better shots. And for what's his name, Suslenkov, his right hand was pretty good this fight. Round 1 to 3, they kind of just met in the middle and traded little shots here and there, clinched a little. And then round 4, Suslenkov caught Joyce with a very nice right hand, which momentarily staggered Joe Joyce. And then, of course, Suslenkov followed up with a few more shots, making Joe Joyce a bit more dazed. And then not much happened after that. Rounds 5 to 8, I think were like the same. And then round 9 was a bit more success for Suslenkov, that's right. Boom, 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 boom. More shots landed. I think I saw a good right hand land on Joe Joyce again. But Joe Joyce has a good chin, definitely. It's not as good as it was before he got iced out by dazn, but it's still definitely good. But then round 11, it was a sad sight to see when Suslenkov caught Joe Joyce with a good shot, good right hand. Joe Joyce, I think, stepped a bit back to the ropes, put out his hand, and I think at that moment, the ref should have just came in and waved it. But no, of course, the ref didn't. And then Suslenkov came in, one combo, I think it was like 4 punches in the combo, and then the ref waves it off, which, yeah, that's fair enough. I think this is a common rhetoric amongst the fans now, which I will follow. Joe Joyce is slow. His hand speed was really slow, and his defense was just not there, which allowed Suslenkov to just punch Joe Joyce like he was a punching bag. And ultimately, Suslenkov gets the win. And to be honest, I kind of expected Suslenkov to win this one. Not by stoppage. I didn't expect stoppage. But I did expect him to win. So I guess I got one part of my prediction wrong. So what fights could be next for Joe Joyce and Artem Suslenkov? I'll start with Joe Joyce. If I'll be honest, nah. I don't think he should fight again. I think he's had more than enough time. When did Joe Joyce start his career? Because I'm pretty sure he had a long amateur career. From just a quick search, I find that Joe Joyce turned pro at 32. Damn, actually. Let me just get his box for a cup. Sorry, guys. So he's currently 40. And his first professional fight, 2017. So that's 9 years ago. That's 9 years ago, and he's 40 now. 40 minus 9, 31. So he was 31, 32. Damn. And within those 9 years, he's actually had a few good wins. Namely, who is it? Daniel Dubois, who's the current WBO champion, and Joseph Parker, who was the former champion. So I think this fight hopefully makes him realize he might not have it anymore. And if he does retire, no shame. He's had good success. And ultimately, with this sport, health is wealth. So please, Joe Joyce, you're never going to watch this video, but if you somehow do, just retire. I think that's what's best for your health. Whereas for Artem Suslenkov, he is currently in the WBA rankings at number 10 now. I don't really see him challenging for the title ever. And currently, Moses Tama is number 1, Jerome Miller is number 2, Tyson Fury 3, Anthony Joshua 4. I don't think he's beating any of them. But we do need to see what Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is like. Filip Hrgovic at number 7, he's not beating him. I don't know if Suslenkov's going to do much more, but I guess if you wanted to challenge, there's a few names in the rankings you could try and get, like Gergen Hovhannissian, Daniel Pero, Nelson Heiser, Valentin Aratinian. Maybe he could try those fights. And now we move on to Murat Gassiev versus Peter Kadiru. Before I talk about the fight at all, I'm going to talk about the rankings. And I don't actually know what the WBA rules are. So I won't spend the time for it right now. But this fight was for the WBA championship. So I'm just wondering, can the WBA champion or super champion fight someone that's not in the top 15? Because if they can, then okay, I'll let it slide. If they can't, then I don't think we should let this slide. Because from what I researched, Peter Kadiru was not in the rankings before this fight happened. If you search up WBA heavyweight rankings, June 2026, you will not see Peter Kadiru in the rankings. So if the champion cannot challenge anyone out of the top 15 without losing their title, then I think Murat Gassiev should have lost his title. With that being said, if we go into the fight, I think it was kind of expected that Peter Kadiru was not going to be any hope. And I think it showed pretty quickly because from what I saw, Peter Kadiru looked kind of weak with his punches. And I think with Murat Gassiev, there's a really easy game plan. Because if you watch Gassiev's fights, he's very, very flat-footed. So and I think Alexander Usyk showed it the best. If footwork is one of your main assets, and you have very light footwork, I think you have almost 95% chance of winning against Murat Gassiev. And obviously, Peter Kadiru did not use his footwork to his best, and ultimately he got slimed out. So for the future, and by the way, this was a round 6 stoppage when Kadiru's corner threw the towel in. So Murat Gassiev defends his title, and Kadiru loses. What could be next for Murat Gassiev? I'll only talk about Murat Gassiev because I don't really see any hope for Peter Kadiru. So for Gassiev, Jerome Miller had a win against Lenier Pero, I think, a bit earlier this year. And he's number 2 in the WBA. That could be a very risky fight for Murat Gassiev. Because Miller is just such a big dude. But obviously, that could give some credibility to Gassiev's heavyweight run. There's... And I don't really know the other guys. He could fight Artem Suslenkov. That's always something. There's Tony Yoka. And still surprisingly, there's Rico Verhoeven at number 15 that he could fight. Which I do not think Rico will... Actually, he might take it if he wants a title. Because I think Rico is a name after the Alexander Usyk fight. So by a miracle, Murat Gassiev might make a voluntary defense against Rico. And yeah, that's really it for the card. There's not really much to talk about for this card. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot happening next week. Well, next Saturday, Sunday. On Tuesday, 14th July, there's... I think this is Reito or Hayato Sutsumi. Pacheco versus Aleem is happening on Saturday 18th. Harlem Eubank is going against David Papot. Yeah, there's a few fights happening next week. So I'll try and cover them. But for now, I'll end here. I know this has been a quite short video. But yeah, this will be it. See you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.